in Western Air Temple. We have Akuma on Mounir versus Skeldra once again on the Jaeyun. And this should be a pretty good bout. I'm excited to see kind of what changes will be made here from Skeldra.
Whoa! Chasing him hard on that one, and Skeldra just barely picks up the neutral air, but it doesn't ultimately matter. Oh man, that's a tough early stock loss for Skeldra.
Yeah, that one's really hard to deal with because there's a certain situation you can end up in where you get, oh my gosh, I was about to say this unarmed is going wild.
Yeah, dude,
here.
he picked up like the top side of Mounir's head with the bottom side of the down air. What a wild way to pick that one up.
Oof. Yeah, that's gonna be hard. You get chased by Gauntlet ground pound all the way down the street, and it's like, what do you do? That side sig would have KO'd on probably any other stage here, but looks like Mounir is going to be able to survive just a little while long here. Goes for the Val neutral signature, but it's not going to connect. Oof, but really Skeldra needs the stock to go. Honestly needed that side sig to knock out. Now he's just taking more and more hits here. Has to find another opening, has to find a weapon even. They're going to be looking for that sword spawn, and there it is on the platform. Tries to be patient, doesn't want to make it too obvious.
Doesn't want to take those back-to-back sidelights, though. Barely picks up the recovery, turning that one around after he got past Mounir and finds the KO off of it, swapping back over to the Greatsword. Mounir's going to be looking for a weapon. Goes for the jump neutral air. That's going to end the iframe.
Nice.
Barely snakes away. He's going to get punished there off of that one, too, after the GC side signature.
Yeah, it's really interesting there because that's another situation where somebody gravity cancels right in front of Skeldra, and he has the option to go for a 5-hit string,
but he doesn't go for it.
But just goes for 3. And I'm like, you could have hit sidelight, N-light, dash, N-light, D-light, sidelight even, and that might have just taken the entire stock, you know? Granted, you know, if you go for sidelight finisher there, it's a little bit riskier because it's not guaranteed. You may be able to jump, but it is what you can go for there. And so despite that, Skeldra trying to get the stock here. That ground pound would have been a great option, but the weapon throw was even better from Mounir.
So yeah, it's interesting seeing Skeldra not go for that when, like, obviously he's a very good player, so he knows his stuff, but also we've seen the mix-ups that he does ending with the ground pound, so he can find those KOs that he's done several times. So like you said yourself, like, he knows what he's doing.
Yes, exactly.
He knows his routes, he knows the options that he has, but sometimes he just doesn't take the more or less like quote-unquote obvious ones.
Maybe just trying to make sure that maybe consistency is what he's valuing here, because sometimes depending on where you get that side light, getting the dash up into the end light on the chase can be a little bit finicky. So maybe just like, I want to make sure I'm not losing out on free damage. I understand it. Sometimes going for the easy thing is better because it's more consistent.
I thought he was going to get caught
by
that. Ooh, there's the D-light recovery, high enough to get the KO off the top. Mounir is going to take game 1. 412 damage, obviously due to that very early stock that he got in, like, basically white. Here's the beginning of it.
Oh, and gets scooped. And this one's tough because Skeldra, I think, actually plays this really well, jumps around it, and just needs the touch here, right? And tries to fade and just barely can't. Was hoping with the chase dodge that he'd be able to go up and ride, but he actually head bonked a little bit on the corner. So just was off by like a pixel or two on the spacing and couldn't get the wall touch.
And Mounir was really smart to go back down with the down to take that and guarantee that that was going to be a stock. And it's tough in those moments to like understand where to stop, because especially when you're that early in your damage cycle, like, so many things have to happen for you to actually find a KO there. Like, we'll see like 4, 5, 6 hit strings, and they ultimately don't end up in a KO because it's so difficult. Everything has to go your way, and so many things have to not go your opponent's way. I thought we were going to see it again.
Yeah, Skeldra kind of getting a lucky break. That neutral air from Mounir didn't hit, because otherwise we'd be in a really bad position. But instead, it's going to be Mounir on the receiving end of some punishment here, burning that dodge on the way down. Perfect chase from Skeldra. Going to go for maybe the final hit here. Goes for a side sig. Relatively safe, but you see how Mounir does that perfect dash land from the corner into that end light. He just bursted so much space in such a short amount of time.
Nice recovery pickup. Just kind of sat on that soft platform. Didn't really chase into the air whatsoever. Bounce off the stage, and Mounir gets right in there. He saw how slowly that weapon toss was moving through the air, so he could get in, find a hit, and then also get the dodge off to dodge the weapon toss as it came back down.
Okay, and Skeldra looking for that final blow here. I might throw out an N-sig in the near future because you know he's going to be jumping with these side airs. But we'll see. What an ambitious. I don't know about that one. I got nothing on that. No analysis. I just think it was bad.
He's thrown out a couple of crazy ones here now that we've seen so far very recently. But, I mean, well, like, he's a game up, so maybe it's just like that's the one that he goes for. And he's like, okay, I've had my fill. Okay. There's the down air from Skeldra.
Okay, I respect it. Could go for the D-like ground pound there, but I think he understood that it wasn't going to KO.
Yeah, he's in yellow.
A little bit weird, so it's like, yeah, I'll just kind of try to reset the situation with that down air and then see what I can get from there. Wow, Skeldra just stood still. Wow, okay, just enough to KO on that one. I think like 1 or 2 damage less, and I think Skeldra survives that.
Oof. Skeldra not immediately moving over to the weapon spawn, does finally grab it. There's the down air landing, of course not getting the grounded version. He started up very high in the air. There's the sidelight. This time going for an air, not going for any like cheeky options, sidelight the other direction. We saw him doing that previously after an in light. He went for the GC turnaround sidelight. Oh, I thought we were going to see the nair.
He's gonna get stuffed out here, has to do the weapon throw to burn the recovery, and he gets caught anyway, doesn't have a whole lot, not gonna be able to make it back to the stage. I thought it was a good thought process from Skeldra there. The weapon toss felt like the right option to me. It was what you had to do there to not get your recovery stuffed out, but just could not get the follow-up after that. Did the recovery a little bit too high, I think. And so, just like that, Mounir in the lead, but not by much. Skeldra just needs to find a stray hit here. Gonna go ahead and grab this great sword. Goes for a reverse Sayer. I respect it. Trying to catch Mounir going into the wall, but Mounir just goes on stage.
I wonder if that weapon toss he did earlier, he meant to like bounce off the wall, but he was just a little bit too high, so it actually landed on stage, so he couldn't grab it immediately after and like throw out a nair or something safe to put a hitbox out above him.
Ooh. All right, Skeldra just goes for the 3-hit there, not even because the dodge is burned. Sometimes you just got to represent it. Keep your opponent on their toes, and huge damage, and forcing Mounir in the corner, refreshing, and goes for that neutral signature. Not a bad read option to go for at all, relatively safe. And at this point, 1 dodge read is a game. Ooh. Burn out the dodge with the weapon throw, and the down tilt. Nice! Yeah. That's how you cover the options there, right? Like, there's not really a whole lot Mounir can do there as a mix-up because he did burn his dodge. The weapon throw from Skeldra, I honestly don't even think was the best. Like, I don't think it was actually going to hit, but sometimes you don't really want to, like, bet on your reaction time there because then you're just going to get hit. If it is, yeah, he was way too low for that weapon throw to hit, but he did burn it. Meant that coming down here, his only mix-up was to try to do an unarmed down air or alternatively do a ground pound right on top of Skeldra, and, like, a lot of people aren't going to do that. So... nice try. That's all I'll give it. I'll give it a nice try from Mounir.
And that was also Mounir choosing to immediately go back to the main platform. Like, he didn't try to, like, camp the bottom of the wall. He didn't try to down air into the wall, maybe dip under the stage a little bit before going back, even though Skeldra didn't have a weapon. So it's not like he was fighting at weapon disadvantage or anything like that. He chose to immediately go up over the top, and Skeldra did a great job babysitting him back to the stage and catching that landing with the long active frames of the unarmed down heavy.
Yeah, I think it's definitely... just good awareness from Skeldra overall, because I feel like if I'm Mounir in that position, I might also choose to opt back to the stage just because since you know I burned my dodge already early on, a lot of people are looking to ground pound or down air you, and I'm like, I don't want to be in that position. It's hard to like win there without having any mixing tools, but getting caught on the landing is just, it's a different mini game. You're still in a bad spot. It's just a different mini game, and Skeldra was able to play it perfectly there. And so going on to this next game, game number 3, 1-1 on the scoreboard here as Mounir manages to pick up a pair of gauntlets. Skeldra waiting for the spawn, and there it is. Gets stuffed trying to pick up that greatsword though. Does manage to pick it up still regardless. Ooh.
Oh, still keeping it going. Also with that recovery, ooh. This is making me a little bit nervous, the way he's already adding up so much damage this early.
1D likes to rule them all. I thought we might see it there. Skeldra trying to figure out what the way down is going to be, and that's the weapon throw accuracy I was hoping for. Gonna go ahead and secure that first stock. Mounir struggling a little bit. Has been caught a lot by these nairs and recoveries. Yeah, finally manages to sneak through on that one, but it's been rough. Beautiful turnaround. I can't believe that wasn't enough to find the KO. Mounir really trying to get this first KO here. Could have gotten a punish on that whip sidelight, and there it is. A second whip sidelight is going to be the name of the game on that one. So Mounir finally able to answer back here, not trailing behind by too much. Skeldra waiting for this weapon spawn. It appears on the left side, and there we go. It's gonna be the normal sword. A little bit of a juggle here, but Skeldra kind of giving up a whole lot of the stage here, letting Mounir honestly have maybe a little bit too much control. But now Skeldra swinging back quite a little bit, dashing back. The tail end of that sidelight's gonna connect. It's interesting here as Skeldra has done such a great job of controlling the stage here despite giving up some space before, going for 2 side sigs. Clearly, Skeldra is in his head.
Yup. The spacing that he had on those to like perfectly stay far enough back from that corner to where there wasn't a lot of time for Mounir to find a great punish, but still like putting out that hitbox right over the corner in case Mounir was riding a little bit higher, came to punish a little bit too early.
Oof. Great spacing there from Skeldra, narrowly avoiding that neutral sig as well. Tries to go for that down. Now, I'm telling you, it spikes, but it's not great and it's not guaranteed. You can always jump out, and so that's exactly what we saw Mounir do there, but I do love the fact that Skeldra represented it on the big stage.
Back-to-back side lights.
Ooh, I like it. If he landed on stage there too, that would have hit.
Oh, he had the dodge, but of course Mounir was fast, falling right out of that to get away. Then the dodge came off of cooldown in time. Mounir is in dangerous territory here, especially given that this set is tied. Potentially could be going down 1-2.
Oh, okay. Great job with the weapon throw there, forcing.
The second time he's found a KO with that, a game-winning KO at that.
Just does the down sig unarmed. I mean, like,
it's really good.
It is. It's active for so long too. It really, like, even when it misses, the threat of it is still very potent. So like, oh, I thought it was a great play for Mounir there because he was able to get that weapon throw, force Skeldra to jump, right? And then he was able to starve Skeldra by forcing him to jump, by being able to go over there and snag the weapon from him. And he's like, oh, clearly he's going to land now. And Skeldra's like, no, I'm actually going to float, right? And floating is always a strong option in Brawlhalla. Has been for years. Just in a scenario like that, I don't think Mounir was expecting it. But now we have Teros Sparky. So this, what do you think about this?
I mean, Mounir has played Teros, so I don't think this is necessarily, or it can be like fully classified as like the salty Teros swap. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Skeldra's looking great against Mounir. Okay, maybe these like single stray hits are the thing that's going to be successful for Mounir here.
It's really weird because, like, you know, Sidelight on Greatsword will get beat out by Endlight on Axe on the ground. So if Mounir is able to maintain stage positioning, then yeah, might be able to win a lot of these neutral exchanges on the ground. But will that be the option here? Really, if I'm Skeldra, I'm not trying to represent downlight on Greatsword at all. But we'll see what kind of ends up happening here as Mounir takes the first stock.
You talked about floating being very important and strong in Brawlhalla. Like, if you have an Axe, then it seems like that goes doubly.
Yeah, it's interesting because I think it's really strong, and in a matchup like this, I don't even know how much you need to necessarily represent it, but jump, jump, jump down air has, like, worked at literally every ELO. You go to 2,500, you'll still see people doing it. So we'll see. It's
the timeless play style.
Yeah.
It's evergreen.
Especially after they gave Axe down air a grounded version, it just added layers to it.
Yep.
And it looks like it's working so far. Mounir, I mean, oh, that's yoinked. Not the classic Teros yoink, and that's how it happens to you too. You haven't been playing Teros for the past however many sets, right? It hasn't been represented yet. You're like not even thinking about it, and then boop, get snatched right off the stage. And honestly, I think that might be the difference maker here. We're gonna see. Oh my God, Skeldra.
Nice. He still has like a lot of movement options in the air.
Okay, wow. Oh, huge damage gonna come out here. Weapon throw. Wow, just does a wake up D-Light and catches the perfect spot on the X-axis to hit Mounir coming down, but I still think Mounir's gonna win this game. I'm gonna be honest here. We've seen Skeldra go for that read maybe like 5 times now throughout the set, and it's yet to hit once.
Yeah, he's been struggling finding his opponent like that grounded for that long to find the option. Now he just has the sword in his hand. Mounir at the weapon disadvantage over on the wall. Still picks up right as that hurt box peeks over the corner. Gets the KO. Skeldra about halfway through this stock. See how quickly Mounir can get a weapon before he gets juggled. Back-to-back neutral airs. There's the in-light punish from Mounir.
You just got to watch the weapon throws here. If I'm Mounir, you're throwing out hitboxes way too haphazardly.
Yes.
Right? You can just kind of sit down, relax a little bit, throw out some N-Light, throw out some D-Lights, see what the Greatsword's going to do. He's going to throw that weapon every time he burns his dodge in, so you have to look for that. And finally, we're going to see Mounir get that game. It was really hard for me to see Mounir losing that one because I feel like he got that Teros hammer Ensig at like the perfect time.
Yes.
It gives you the lead jump so large that like Skeldra really has to play out of his mind to have a comeback from there. Where it was like Mounir could be playing like kind of mid for the rest of that game, and I'd still expect him to win just because, you know, even if they're doing a 1-2 exchange on every hit, it's Teros, it'll add up over the time. So it's like, you managed to get that one. I'm really worried about game 5 for Mounir, though, if I'm honest.
I was worried that Mounir was going to keep throwing out like these grounded options, or maybe even like the anti-air, like the XD light. But like Skeldra was floating for some of that. Like there were times when he was grounded, but there were also times, especially at the end, where he was just floating above. That's where he was talking about, where you were talking about throwing the weapon toss down. And I was just really worried that Mounir was going to like, oh, I'm going to Teros, I'm going to throw out the down sig, I'm going to let the intrusive thoughts win, I'm just going to throw out an in light, I'm going to throw out a D light because it's getting towards the end and I really want that KO. All I need is a stray hit. I was so scared. Oh, back to back.
Jeez. Oh my gosh, man. And Skeldra wasting no time and started this game 5 here on Miami Dome. This one's going to be really rough for Mounir here. I mean, I already feel like despite winning that last game, felt like he was kind of on the back foot here, but answering back here goes for a side sig with that hammer.
Dude, the vertical game from Skeldra, completely different than what we saw before. So many dares, so many nairs as well. Swaps over to the sword, picks up the D-Light Seer for the KO. Huge first stock, and it's like Mounir wasn't ready to deal with the vertical up and down game with the dares and nairs coming out from Skeldra.
Yeah, this actually is kind of reminiscent of I think it's Hughes versus Kaina at BCX, actually. There was a kind of a moment where Hughes decided that he was going to do mainly a vertical game versus Kaina, and suddenly Kaina kind of crumbled, right? And we're seeing a bit of that exchange happening here. Ooh, and a beautiful read there, but he could have gone for D-Light and Light Finisher. It would have been guaranteed. And so I'm still confused by some of the options that Skeldra's going for, but he's trying to cook is all I can say.
I mean, he's absolutely cooking. We're seeing a completely different Skeldra this game. Like, he definitely got his swagger back.
I'm just like, you could have taken the stock, though. That's all I'm going to say.
That's true.
You could have taken the stock. But with that said, I mean, Skeldra's still absolutely in the driver's seat here. Finally going to lose that stock. Honestly, I thought he was going to survive because he skid across the stage for so long that I was like, there's no way, right? But that's just the aura of Teros, I guess, just pumping testosterone.
All right, we saw Skeldra floating, but he got caught right on the landing.
Oh, not enough. I respect going for the quick finisher, right? Thinking that probably that it was going to lead to KO, but there we go. That recovery is going to be enough. And Skeldra really in a strong spot to win this one. I don't know if Mounir's going to be able to bring this back. We're going to need something else cheeky like we saw in the game before. And I don't know if Skeldra's going to give it to him. Nice. Oh.
Keeping it going. The vertical gameplay with the neutral airs. Now back to the lateral standard grounded gameplay. Okay.
Okay, and I like it. Ooh, and I love the fact he goes for the bridge there, right? Interrupts that Sig starter. Ooh, great movement from Skeldra there, using that drift on JU and go ahead and go across to the side, going for the unarmed down Sig here, and honestly just smothering Mounir. Honestly, Skeldra's got this one won. If Mounir is able to bring this one back, he has made a believer out of me, and this is a great way to start it up. Mounir needs the absolute god stock right now to be able to bring this to a victory and secure a spot in Grand Finals.
So when you were talking about the potential cheekiness, okay. Threw away his axe, so we don't see a second one coming out here, or like hitting the bottom side of the ground. Not the KO just yet. One more KO move should be able to end this stock of Mounir.
Hold on.
He's at a weapon disadvantage. There's a spawn coming in. It goes to the left soft platform, but he grabs it before it reaches its target. That's going to be it. And Skeldra takes the set against Mounir in Game 5.
Okay, just like that. That means that Skeldra's cooking, right? That means he qualifies. He's going to have a tie, but he qualifies, is what we were saying before, right?
So Mounir is now tied with Acno on qualification.